Hello folks, I'm Ben Tannehill, and welcome to another edition of Throwing Water on the Fires. Today, I'm here to talk about a show that I didn't know had so many fans. I felt it was safe to attack this show because I only knew a small handful of people who watched it in real life, and I felt that it was a show that you could grow out of with age. Boy, was I mistaken. If it's one thing that making YouTube videos has taught, it's that if you talk badly about Rugrats, you have a lot of people to answer to. So, today, I'm going to give a more respectable review of Rugrats. I like to start out by saying that when I was a kid, I only watched this show because it was my best friend's favorite show. Since he was my next door neighbor, I hung out with him the most, and I wanted to stay on his good side, so I started to watch this show. I know this because I don't remember watching this show before he moved into my neighborhood. I was more of a Cartoon Network and Disney kid, and I didn't get into a lot of Nick shows I like now until later on after they went off the air. But anyway, looking back, I remember watching the show, but I don't remember liking anything about it. The only reason I kept watching it is because, well, my best friend. Sounds like a lame excuse, but at the time, I just wanted to feel close to my friend, and I felt watching it was the only way. So, after I grew up, I realized why I never liked this show. For one thing, I find the characters to be very weak. Each one of them only has one or two traits about them, and those traits get exploited to the point where they get old. That's not how characters work. You can't just let each character have only one personality. You have to have a few traits that can allow for creativity to build off of them. You think Homer Simpson would be interesting if he was just fat? The next problem with this show is that it's so slow-paced. I know it's a show about babies, but still, it's slow. Episodes feel like they go on forever, and they're only 11 minutes long. Yes, I know Ren and Stimpy is like that, but at least the plots of that show lead up to actual gags that make me laugh. This show just causes my mind to wander on about other things. Not to mention, there was one problem with this show that I noticed even as a kid. If Angelica is always lying to the babies, then why do they keep believing everything she says? That's one hole that's hard to ignore. But my overall reason of not liking this show is because I find it very boring. Yes, I know it's about babies, but then again, it makes sense why I would find it boring. I feel you just can't make the lives of average babies interesting. I'm just too used to cartoons that have characters I can relate to, and have plots with layers, as well as off-the-wall cartoons that push insanity to the limit. I've been spoiled by shows like that to the point where I can use this show as a substitute for sleep medicine. Also, since it's a show about babies, there's a lot of talk about poop, puke, and other gross stuff. Some people might find that cute, but I just find it disgusting. It also seems like an excuse for the writers to not write actual humor and just have the babies talk about gross material. I like to finish this video off by addressing those who got upset when Ben T. Looney attacked this show. They say that I just don't get the show and fail to see all the clever satire and adult humor it contains. For example, they say the reason that the adults in this show are morons is because it's parodying how youngsters have more common sense than grown-ups. Well, I think there's a show that does that concept a lot better. Next, they say that the fun of this show is that it exaggerates little elements of childhood. Once again, there's another show that does that a lot better that I actually love. Next, they say that the show is written for adults because all the adult jokes it contains. Sorry, but it doesn't work like that. You can't just have a show with babyish elements and then add in a few adult jokes. That doesn't balance the scale out at all. If you want to make a show that's made for all ages, you have to keep the content consistently for kids and adults. If you just add in a few jokes here and there, those are just the writer's desperate attempts to bring in the adult audience. Grandpa Lou talking about a porno movie for 5 seconds doesn't make a 173 episode series an unrestricted age show. And, once again, there's another show I love dearly that knows how to write for both kids and adults on a consistent level. And yes, let me make this clear, folks, I don't like the Rugrats series as a whole. Even the first 3 seasons that fans defend with pitchforks and axes, I don't find the whole show to be entertaining or enjoyable, and I felt that whatever this show is trying to offer onto animation has been better executed in other shows. If you like it, more power to you, But don't try to tell me that the reason I don't like this show is because I don't get it. I get it, it's just that I need to be entertained by a show in order to love it. Yes, you can go on about how groundbreaking this show is, or how cleverly it satirizes how children see the world, but at the end of the day, if I don't have fun watching it, then I could care less about it. So, there are my honest thoughts on Rugrats. Looking back, I see it as the SpongeBob of the 90s, a show that became incredibly popular and overshadowed other shows around it. This show just doesn't feel like a Nickelodeon show. When I think of Nickelodeon, I think of Ren and Stimpy, Angry Beavers, Butch Hartman's Works, and Invader Zim. Those shows helped define what the network was meant to be, a network with attitude that lets kids be kids. However, Rugrats just feels like a PBS kids show that crawled onto Nick Studios. It's slow, boring, and to a certain extent, a preschool show that's not educational and has a slightly quicker pace. It's one childhood show that I never bother revisiting. I'm Ben Tannehill. See you later.
Nobody